Hi, it's Jess here from Nigezza.co.uk. Thank you for joining me today. So I'm going to make a little mini album, file folder, notebook, something like that. So this is my prototype that I've made, and I followed a video by Scrapbooking with E, and she made a sort of a wallet with pockets in. I've added a notebook to mine. So I've taken an idea and then just added, and it's all made out of one 12 by 12 sheet. So on the front here we have a pocket there. I've just put a tag in, and we have a pocket here, which again I've just put large tag that you can put whatever you want on it. So that goes in there. And then on the inside there's a pocket there, and then I just put a little tuck there. And I did a bit of stamping, and then we've got a little notebook there, and I used some twine to sew in that notebook. You could staple, I just like to sew. And then I've got the same on the back here, pocket there, little tuck there. Done it with double-sided paper. This is a retired sheet from Stampin' Up, because I have oodles of them. And then on the back we have the same as the front, and I secured this tie under here, and that's how I got the closure. So I did all the tags very simple, and just kept this sort of leaf theme from the paper. So I'm gonna make it again. This one measures overall 6 inches by 3.5, and I'm gonna make the other one a slightly different size, just slightly different, so you can compare and see which version you like. And for this next one I'm going to use the this DSP here. This is the I'll forget what it's called. I want to say sports event, don't know. It's called Hey Sports Fan is the paper, and you do get a sheet where you can die cut out these little tickets, because they go with a die set, which I absolutely love, where you can cut out tickets, big ticket, little ticket, and this shape here. And it has a stamp set that goes with it, and so you can stamp that outline there and make your own tickets. There isn't a stamp to go with these tickets, but that doesn't matter, and you've got a tiny little ticket there, which I have used before, and then I've got all these tickets. So when you use that little ticket die there, you it does the little perforations there. It's great. So I thought I'd make it out of these and then use these tickets to decorate. There were my thoughts. Now the paper has got like sports themed and then non-sports themed on it. Those two are the same. So these are pretty non-directional, those sheets, but these aren't, and I don't think that one would work, because you're always going to end up with something being upside down, and even if you do it with that on the inside, it will probably be upside down at some point. Yeah, so I didn't think that would work, so I just disregarded that. That could be either way up, but that's quite plain, and I wanted to use that for something else. I was going to use this sheet because that was my original idea, but again, you will end up with it being a bit upside down, and I thought, no, that's not going to work. That's the sheet where you die cut out all of these tickets, so that's not going to get used, and then we're repeating. So I'm going with the baseball bats and ball. That's what I'm going with, because it doesn't matter which way up the bats are, and they're on it both ways, so I figured that one would work really well. So let me show you the basic construction of it. So you could just fold it if you wanted to. I'm a bit of a scorer. I do like to score. I'm going to just fold for the initial. You want to fold it in half each way. So I am going to do that. I'm using my scoreboard so that I can butt up. So fold in half and fold in half. Because I do find sometimes that when you score at 6, it doesn't always necessarily meet. So I'm just going to get my bone folder and burnish this. So all this bit is the same as what he did. Basically, the difference I've done is I've added a notepad. So I'll link to her video. So there's that. And now I'm going to do some scoring. And I'm going to score. And look at what I decided to do. When it's folded up like that, it's folded up like that. What am I like? Now on this the prototype, I scored it at 2.5. At 2. Yeah, I did. I scored it at 2.5. Yeah. So I scored at 2.5. So that's 2.5 wide. I'm going to do this one 2.25. So we'll have a narrower pocket, but a wider notepad. Okay. So doing 2.25 there. Flip it round, and we'll do 2.25 there. Okie doke, that's it. That is all the scoring I want to do. Now you could, what he did was, Eve, she just eyeballed that fold back and then folded the other one by just eyeballing it to be the same. But I've done it this way so it can measure. So what you want to do is you want to cut you want to cut these 2 fold lines up to that score line. So I'm going to take my big scissors, crusty bangedy wallop. So you could do this on a trimmer, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go either side of the score line and just remove the score line basically. So you're removing that tiny little sliver there. Okay, just that tiny little sliver. You can do it by cutting along like that, but I tried that and I ended up with a bit too big of a slither. I did another one by cutting it on my trimmer along the score line, but because it's been scored, the trimmer then tends to fray the edge. So, and then what happens here is they fold back on themselves like that and like that. Now at this stage you can decide, do I want it that way or do I want it that way? So it's whichever you prefer. And I'm not quite sure what I prefer. And then to get the slanted pocket, you're going to cut just on this first score, up to the first score. So I'm just going to take my long scissors, cut like that. You can use a trimmer for this if you prefer. I did do them both together so that they actually matched. There we go. So you've then got your nice little pocket like so, and you've got one on the inside. I think I might go for that because you see less of the yellow that way. Yellow, not really my favourite colour. Not that I'm making this for myself, but yeah, that's the way I'm going. That's the way I'm doing it. Like that. Yeah. And then what I did on the inside was I used these bits that I cut off as little extra pockets. There. Okay. So if I open that up, probably see on that side better, you can basically see what we've done. Well, you would if I put it in shot. So there we go. That is what we've done with our 12 by 12. So score it, we'll fold it each way at 6 inches, and then we've scored at 2 1/4 from each end. Just cut, slither in there to the first score line, and then chopped off all 4 corners, and then you fold it up like so. So that's the really quick, easy way to put it together. And so now we've decided that that is where we want it. We can give it a good old burnish like so. And then you cut some thumb holes there. Now I just followed what Eve did, and she did it through both sides. Now I'm not going to do it on this one because I did it on this one, and then what I find is when you pull it out that sometimes it can be just a bit annoying getting it back in, because it just catches, and I find that quite annoying. So I think I'm going to do the notches on the inside and not on the outside at all. So I'm just going to do my thumb holes on one side, and I'm going to do the one that's on the inside. Now I'm going to do this as circle punch. Stampin' Up don't sell circle punches anymore, but I'm going to use my retired 1.5 inch circle punch. I'm folding them together like that so that I can get them exactly the same. Okay, so that's the inside. So unfolding it, folding it that way, and this is where I'm going to put my thumb notch. I'm eyeballing it so it's in the middle. So I've got the same size there as there. and then just punch. They fly everywhere, never to be seen again. And then fold it up, and there you can see, if I fold it out again, you can see what I've done. I know some people like to take screenshots. I know I certainly do sometimes. Okay. That's the way I want it. So we're not going to see that little notch there on the outside. So we are going to create pockets. So we need glue around 3 sides of this to make our pocket there at the front. And we could add an extra tuck there. So if you can see there, I've come up slightly higher than I would like. So you could cover that up by doing that, or it could get covered up at the later stage with decoration. So I'm not going to worry about it right now. So I'm going to take some Tombow, and I'm going to do a little bead of Tombow along there and along there for pockets that are going to have things going in and out of them. I would always use wet glue, because wet glue dries. Whereas if I was to use tape, tear and tape, or tape runner, Stamp and Seal, or Stamp and Seal Plus, they don't dry. You can catch in them. So if it's tape on it and you put your tag down, it can get caught on the tape, and then it'll get stuck, and then you can't pull it out. Whereas that Tombow is going to dry. Okay, so we're going to do it on all of the pockets. You could, if you wanted to, have a flap out, but I'm not going to. But that is another alternative that you could have. But I want pockets. So my idea is this going to be a little notebook, and so it could be used as a journal. You could add photos, or it could be a notepad that you carry around with you. And then in these little pockets you could put receipts, you could put little business cards of places that you visit as a little reminder. It could be something that you take on holiday, and you might write little things down. And I have got the thoughts in my head. My son and his partner are going to the States for 3 weeks soon, and they've got quite a big itinerary of things that they need to do. And so I thought, as it's got a little bit of an American theme, and my son's partner is American, that they might appreciate the little touch of America that this little notebook's gonna have. We'll see. The blokes, they might just go, yeah, cheers, mum. What am I supposed to do with that? But hey ho. Thought that counts, innit? It's the thought that counts. I'm enjoying making it. You might get some inspiration for other things to make. I am thinking I might do this do it vintage with some book pages as well. So that's those down. So now we need to close it up on the 2 sides. I'm not going to glue down the centre because I'm going to sew a signature in there. You could, if this was going to be put into a journal, then this could actually get sewn in the signature of a journal, and then this could be, you know, have pages either side, or it could just slip in a journal for something be Happy Mail. It's a nice way. I like 12 by 12 page projects. I like 6 by 6 page projects as well. I recently done a load of 6 by 6 page projects. But I particularly like 12 by 12 pages as well, because I seem to have a bit of a museum to 12 by 12 papers that I take out and stroke every now and again, as opposed to use them. So I have, in the last couple of years, been more about using them. So I have got better, a lot better. So there we have. So that's all stuck down nicely. So then we need some tags. So we want a tag each for these and a bigger tag for the pockets as well, which could, as I say, be photo mats, or you could even put, you know, if they go and visit, they are, you know, going to do lots of sightseeing, so they might keep tickets as reminders. They might get tickets and they might give them me because they know I like labels and things. So it might be something that they take and go, oh yeah, James, your mum would like that. Or mom, as he would say, Finn would say. Or James might go, oh yeah, we best save that for mother. So, so yeah. So there's that. So I'm now I'm gonna put these on the inside, because I think they make nice little tucks, like so. Let's have a look at the others. Would I prefer them? No, I like the way they're going. So I'm just going to put a bit of glue on each of these, and then I'm going to give my hands a thorough good wash, because I do get a bit sticky with Tombow. No matter how careful I am, I do end up a little bit sticky. Right, so I want to do a bit of decoration, and so I'm going to wash my hands and I'm going to get my tickets to decorate. Okay, so I have had some fun with the dies, the stamp set, and cutting out of the DSP. So this sheet here with all these things here that are baseball related, using scan and cut some of them out, and the sheet with all the flags on, I cut them out as well. The ticket page had already been die cut. I actually die cut the ticket page because I wanted the details. So I didn't use my scan and cut on that. The dies fit the ticket page, and you get the perforation across there in the ticket using the die. You can see it better there on the back, and this has perforations there as well. So I was always going to use the die on the tickets, and the flags, that shape will cut out with a die. That one I used a die with, and then this one was the scan and cut. Now the scan and cut, you can see if I use that there, you can't see because it's the same blooming colour. Oh, grab something darker there, so you can see the lines wrinkled a bit, and that's because it picks up an outline, and so because it's sort of white, it doesn't see it. Now I did on some, oh well, clearly not that one, I did go round with a pencil. So if you go round with a pencil, you might get a better cut, but otherwise you're left with this sort of raggedness. But I quite like it. It's like a flag that's in the wind blowing about. It does get a bit frayed. Have you ever seen those flags on cars, you know, the football supporter ones? They all get frayed. So I've been doing that, And I've been stamping that image and die cutting this as well, because these tickets, if I'm going to use them as a sort of a journaling card, I want that on the back. I want that on the back for two reasons. One, to give it a bit of stability, and you can't really write on the blue. So some of them I'm using for decoration, so I'm just going to stick them down. But others I want as actual tags. So I've done that. So I've got a pile of them ready to go on. And I have cut out some of the rows of stickers, tickets even. So I love those. I wish there was a stamp that went with it, but there isn't. So well, there's one I've done earlier in true Blue Beta style. Put that on the back, so it's now a nice robust ticket. So I've cut some plain ones of those out. So if I want to, that team one, that was one of these flags, that one in fact, but different colour, that was on the edge, so we didn't have the full one. So I used the die and cut out a ticket that said team on it, which I thought was quite cool. So if I'm going to tuck a couple of these into those little inside pockets, I've cut a back to it, so I can use that. I've not stuck them down yet because I don't really know. So the other thing I've done is I've cut, so to fit in this pocket, I cut it at 1 3/4 because you've got glue down the side. Oh, actually it's 1 1/8. It turned out to be, oh, it is 1 3/4. I went for 2 originally because it's 2 1/4, so I thought 2 inches would work, but actually because of the gluing and the way it spread, for me 1 3/4 was the best. So I cut a strip 1 3/4. I think I did 5 1/2. Yeah, 5 1/2. I did do 5 1/2, and then I went back in then with the top of this die. I just laid it on the top of the ticket and just ran through just that top bit, took it out, turned it round, did the same on the other side. So it gave me a nice long ticket that I can just put. So I made one for each of them. And then this one, I thought if that just pokes behind and then you can see general emission poking at the top, I thought that was a nice look. And then, so I've got them on the inside as well. Got one for the back somewhere. There it is. So one for the back. So I cut 4 of them. And it depends how far that slivers. I might just take a little sliver off that because it's struggling a tad. So take the tiniest sliver off there. Still not slipping in that well. There we go. I might take a little bit more off. Take that one off that side. There we go. There, that slips in much better now. So I've got them in. And then for the big pockets, I've cut 2 of these, and I cut them because this is 3 3/4. I went 3 1/2. No, I went less than that. I went 3 1/8. Again, because of the glue. So it's about measuring yourself and seeing what goes down there better. And I'm sure it's 5 1/2 long, 5 3/4 long. So that's what I did. So I cut 2 of those, and let's get this one sorted first. I've got all my bits and little pots ready to use. So I cut out that hashtag #1 as well. So, and I've got note paper to go in the middle. I'll talk about that when I get to that bit. So on these, I wanted a pull. So in that strip there, we've got a mitt, we've got the body armour, don't know what these are called, we've got a helmet, we've got a ball, quite small, and we've got these, which I've no idea what they are. Don't know what they're supposed to be. Is that where the picture stands? Is that the bit where the backstop, if that's what it's called, stands? I have no idea. No idea at all. We've got little balls as well. Let me show you the balls. I hand cut the balls, I have to confess. Scan and cut. I just told it to ignore lots of little things, so it got rid of them. So my thought was that I would use these images as a tab. I need another helmet. Dun, dun, dun. I've got another helmet. Yes. So what I thought is I'd have 2 helmets and 2 of these triangular things. No idea what these triangular things are. So I thought if I just glue that on there and then glue one on the other side, that would make a cute little pull for that tag. And then do the same with these funny little, could either go that way or that way. I think I'm going that way because that seems to be the direction they're printed on the paper. So if there is a right way and a wrong way up for these, I thought I'd do that. So I thought, that's what I thought. That is what I thought. And you could do some stamping on it as well. I was looking at these. I could put a couple of stars in the corner. Might do that just to decorate them up. So I'm gonna, so that is like the easiest bit to show you right now, is get them glued on. So there's the second one. So I'm going to use a bit of Tombow here because it's nice and strong and I want it to stay in place. So I'm going to eyeball that for the centre. I'm just going to have a tiny little bit sticking up. Like so, and then cover this side. And have that meet that on the other side. A little blue mupper upper, get sticky already, and this is all I've done. This is the next day and I got really sticky yesterday, and here I am getting all sticky again already. So there's that pull. Somehow managed to get glue. Look at me. What you like, Jez? What you like? That will come off. You are a Burke. There we go. And so that will slip in there nice little pull in that pocket. There we go. And then we do the same for the helmet. Now it's not symmetrical, and obviously I'm doing opposite to opposite, but it does actually fit quite well. I think that's quite cute. So that's going in there like so. So then it's a matter of decorating the front. So I've got all these bits that I want to use to decorate, and to help me, I laid it on already. So I have taken photos of how I'm thinking of decorating, so that I can look at that and remember the good idea I had. So it looks like I've got some of these bits. So I've got I left it in a pile, so I put them together in a pile so that I'd be a bit quicker. Okay, what I haven't got in here is a row of tickets, so I'm thinking I might shove a row of tickets. I thought I might delicately place, after thinking about it for a while, a row of tickets at the bottom, and then that covers up that little bit there. So that is my thoughts. There, row of tickets there. So we've got the wrong pile. It's obviously for the inside. This is my pile for the outside. So I haven't backed any of these because I'm sticking them down. So I wanted to introduce the other colours and not just stick to the Evening Evergreen and Bumblebee. I mean, Bumblebee's now retired, but it's in these papers. So this is how I thought we'd go. Obviously got one too many of them. Oh, that's probably with another pile that I've moved. So that is my thoughts for what's going on the front. Quite busy, but you know, there we go. So I'm gonna stick that down, and I shall speed it up whilst I'm sticking it down. So there's my front cover finished. So I know it's quite busy, but I quite like it. It reminds me, as well as like those old sort of vintage suitcases, you know, where people used to put stickers on from places that they'd visited. So the thoughts of this being sort of something that they'll take on their travels, I thought that worked quite well. So on the inside, let's check another photo. There we go. So that's my inside. So I want that to go in there as a ticket, and that in there. So, you know, well, you know, as something that they could write on. So it needs backing. So I can show you how I backed these things. So that can go on there, and that can go on there. So I put glue on here, and I used I put the bigger label to the bottom, because this will bend, because it's you know, it's been perforated. So I just had them both on my desk, and then I can feel when they're together on the side, and then just keep turning it round and knocking it together, and then that way they line up perfectly. I stamped them all in Evening Evergreen. I was going to do them in the different colours because this Poppy Parade, we've got Night of Navy and we've got Bumblebee, but I just thought, oh, it's too much hassle trying to work out how many I need of which. So that's ready to go in there. I don't know why it's going that way. Then I had a little ticket there, number 1. Don't know where that's gone. This was another one that was on one of these flags. I just cut it out, and I'm going to stick that on the actual pocket just to extend the pocket, so it's not so I only need to put glue on half of it really. Like so. And so there's room there that other things can get tucked in, little receipts or what have you, but that's then there now as a nice decoration. And then I wanted a ticket in the back, so this one's already backed, so I'm going to put that one in the back, so we've got a bit of colour sticking up. And then the same on the other side, so I'll get that sorted on the other side. Okay, so now we come to the back. So that's all finished. So now we come to the back. So I want to do some sort of closure. On my prototype, I just put some seam binding on it, and then that was stuck down by what I did on the back. So that's my photo of what's going on the back. So with this suite, you get this 3-pack of twine. Fan baker's twine, so you get 3 colours there, and I thought I'm going to use the green, I think, as I did before, to sew the signatures. So I'm going to use, I think, the red stripy to me, that's just screams of baker's twine. That's how it should look. So I want about that much for tying my bow, and I want this to wrap round about 3 times, so, and then tie a bow. So I want about that much. So that's how I measured what I wanted, but we want to unwrap because we only want the single to be stuck down there. Okay, now when I did the seam binding, I was able to secure it a bit. This is baker's twine, so it's a bit more difficult, so I'm just going to put a couple of little dots, eyeballing it for about halfway. Just going to put a couple of little dots of Tombow to hold that in place. Now it doesn't matter about the glue because it's all going to get covered up anyway, but I just wanted to give this a little bit of security itself before I stuck things down. Okay, so that's that, and now let's start gluing the decoration on. So I'm going to speed it up again for this section. There we are. So that's that done. So that's now well secured underneath there. And I say to fasten it, going around 3 times, and then we can tie it in a bow. And I think that gives it a more masculine look, having the twine and not some ribbon. If I'd thought about it, I might have put, before I stuck this pocket flap down, I might have attached like a policy envelope closure. I might have put a circle to wind round, and I could have put an eyelet on the back, but I didn't. But I actually think that works. That works well. So that could be it. So the video I watched with Scrapbooking with Eve, she was just making a booklet like that. I think I was going to leave it like that. I would glue down the middle or do a running stitch, but I wanted to add a notebook, so I've got my pages prepared to go in there as a notebook. So these is a charity shop purchase. So I got this book in a charity shop. It's a notebook. So it's got these sheets that are perforated. So I cut them down. I liked the fact that you got notes written on the inside. And what I did was I wanted to trim the top, just the top bit off, so the notes was nearer the top, because obviously this is a bit smaller. Oh, you can't see what I'm doing. So I'm going from the bottom because I want to be able to see the notes, so I can see the track just the other side of where the notes is. So trimming that off, and then the depth of the page, I'm doing it to 5 7/8 because it's 6 inches long, and that gives me a nice, I'll save that because that can go in a journal. I liked the colour worked really well for this. I decided to trim just to shave a little bit off there, because that's quite a wide margin for a small notebook. And then I cut my pages at 7 3/8. So obviously it does depend on the size that you do. If you do the smaller version, this one, it was 6 7/8 is where I cut that one. And then I just used my butt there at the top of the trimmer to enable me I can hear noises downstairs. Either I've got a burglar that's doing the washing up, or Ed's come in from his meeting. And I'm not going to disturb them either way if they're doing the washing up. And so that is how I made. Obviously use whichever paper you want. On this is just like copier paper thickness. On this one I've used paper that is 120 GSM, so it's a little bit thicker. So I might shove that one in now, so I've got an extra one. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sheets. So times that by 4, that's 28. So that's like 28 pages back and front. And as you can see, we've got, fits quite nicely top and bottom, but we're getting, it's pushing out a little bit now on the side, so you're gonna have to trim it. So what you get is, can you see it's coming over there? You can see better at the top, I think. Angle it right. You can see they're coming over the top. Now if you don't mind that, then that's happy days, but it does actually need trimming down because it is coming out, and that's because as you stack them up, that's what happens, because you've got a little bit of thickness there, so obviously the last one's gonna stick out. So I just take a couple of clips to hold it together. I get my, so going to be a little bit of glare on here, so take the glass mat and I take my ruler here and I sort of line up the edge, so I make sure I'm on a straight line here, and I try and get the edge of the paper on a straight line there, and I line my ruler up on the straight line, making sure I haven't moved everything as I go. Don't have to use a ruler. I would use a metal ruler, or I've got a plastic ruler that has a metal edge. If you're cutting, that's what you want to do. Now don't try and go through the whole stack in one go, just keep stroking down and taking it away. There we go. And that should give you then a nice neat edge. Retract that before you do yourself some damage. And that is how I cut my pages so they fit nicely. Get rid of this glary board now. You could do it on a self-seal mat as well. I just happen to have a glass board. It was a Christmas present many years ago now. And yeah, I like it. It allows me to do like smushing and that. I don't know why I put the clips away, because I need them. So now it doesn't come over the side. It now sort of fits in there perfectly. So now we're going to sew in my signatures. Let's get a few more clips. I know that some people are sometimes daunted at the thought of sewing signatures in. I'm taking these out just for now, but I don't find it that hard really. I did think it was very complicated when I first saw it, and then I tried it and went, oh, actually it's quite easy. It's 3 stitches. It's not hard. I did struggle with getting my holes nicely on the seam until I discovered the trick of doing that. So the way to make sure that it goes out the seam where you want it, you know, on the crease, is to poke your hole with your book slightly bent over. I just do it like that. Some people get a really big book and use that so that it cradles in the really big book and poke it down. Some people have posh book cradles, but I just literally eyeball for the centre. You can make templates, but I'm just eyeballing. Book slightly bent as we poke through, and it pokes out there right on the crease where you want it. You probably can't see it there. If I poke my hole in, you can see I'm on the crease. And then I'm just eyeballing at the top, about 1/2 inch from the top I'm going. And again, make sure I'm bent, poke it over, I'm on the crease. Again at that side, about 1/2 inch down, poke it through, I'm on the crease. So that's my 3 holes done. I'm going to use a needle with a thick end. So you do 3 times the height of your book. 1, 2, 3, probably a bit spare there. And then thread that through. So got my thread, got a bit of an end there, got them uneven. Now I want the bow on the inside, so I'm going to start on the inside. If you wanted the bow on the outside, you start on the outside. Wherever you start, that's where your tail end is. Okay, so pulling that through, all the way through your tail end. I'm going to just put down there. Okay, back up, don't matter if you go top or bottom. Back in through the hole that you've made. Don't make a new hole, the hole that you've made. There we go, pull it tight. Liking the look of that. I don't think it mattered, I think it would be all right whichever way you went. Then you're going to go back through this hole. I usually pull the tie to one side so I can see the hole, because you don't want to split the thread, the twine, whatever you're using. You don't want to make a new hole. You both want to be in the same hole, because you want to be able to pull it so that it's pulling it tight. Then we go through the other hole. Don't know why I haven't got my glasses on. There we go. Pull that through. So now I'm going to give them a bit of a pull, bit of a tug. This needle now is going to go underneath there. So that thread's coming that side. So I want this thread to be on the other side. Give it all a good pull. You can check if you're nice and tight. If you're not, you can tighten up the ends and then just do a double knot. Left over right, right over left. I've probably done it the other way around. And that will be it. You can, some people hang charms from these. You can do a bow, you can leave it as a knot. Now the bow is purely decorative because that knot will hold. I'm going to do a bow. And that's that. I'm going to put this away before I lose it. We can take our clips out. And we have got our little book there. We can use our bone folder to give it a good burnish down. We'll open it up. Let's put our tags back in. So now they're not going to fall to the centre, you know, overlap at all, because there's sewing there to stop it. I say if you weren't putting the notebook in, I would add some glue there in the middle. So a nice little notebook. So travel memories, travel plans, whatever in there. Could add some photos if you wanted to. It is thin paper. Want it to be thicker, I guess you could glue 2 sheets together if you wanted to make them a little bit thicker for photos. But there's plenty of pockets and these things for adding photos. Or you could just use it as a notebook. So that is that. There is plenty of other tickets and things I could add to it. I've got, oh yeah, I forgot about that. I cut out these, which could just go in as well in the front and the back pocket. That was why I cut them out. And then we just wrap our twine around and tie ourselves a bow. So that is my little notebook journal from a sheet of 12 by 12, lots of pockets and a notebook. So I hope you liked that. I enjoyed making it. I might now do a vintage style one. I've got loads of things cut out. I can easily make another one of these, actually. I'll link down below to everything I've used. Link to my blog as well, so I'll have the measurements put out and some close-ups. And yeah, I'll link to the video that inspired me as well, so you can go and check her out as well. Okay, thanks for joining me. Don't forget to like and subscribe.